Justice for all.
Okay, we'll open up the public hearing for our budget for 2017-18 school year. And it'll be beginning by our superintendent and business official.
If it doesn't click, I'll just figure.
Okay, be my banner. Okay, well, welcome everyone to the 2017-18 Highland Central School District budget hearing. This evening we are going to run through our presentation, which will be later uploaded to our website. And when we conclude with the presentation, we will offer our board candidates an opportunity to make a statement if they would like to. Okay, so we'll begin with...
Okay, so what I unplugged was the clicker thing.
Okay.
Here we go.
With our mission statement, which is what we keep at the forefront as we make any and all of our decisions, but especially during our budget building process, that students are the priority in a safe and caring learning environment, that we inspire students to make connections, think critically, and become productive global citizens who create legacies that make our community proud. And there you will see some of our students engaged in a variety of activities, and in the lower left-hand corner, our local police departments from New Paltz and the town of Lloyd. We're here to encourage our students who are participating in the Special Olympics this weekend. So that was last Saturday. Our goal for this 17-18 school year budget was to maintain our current level of student programs and services. Just run through some of the highlights of the current school year. We were able to add a guidance counselor position at the elementary school, and in the budget newsletter you'll see an article about how that position is being utilized. As you know, we're continuing our work with STEM and robotics in all three buildings, and thanks to the Highland Educational Foundation, we've been able to really enhance that program, continue to fund the Capital Reserve Fund that was established by the voters in May of 2015. Our high school continues to be one of the most challenging high schools according to the Washington Post for the third straight year, and as you know, we had a second year of the Teacher of Critical Language program at the Highland Middle School, where we had a teacher from Egypt, and we had a wonderful presentation by the students that she's working with. And our students continue to travel locally, nationally, and internationally to experience their curriculum in person, and you'll see them in a variety of locations and different activities. But we're very proud of the amount of exposure our students get on a regular basis for different activities, and I just want to point out that most, if not all, of those activities are funded through student fundraising activities. And I don't have to read the chart for you, but you can see that a majority of our students at the end of the 2015-16 school year were planning to go on to higher education and or had employment plans, and not too many were undecided as to what they were going to pursue. This year, the Highland Middle School sponsored their first ever career fair. I understand that it was well attended by representatives from local businesses and companies, and our students practiced asking good questions, giving firm handshakes, and learned about the different opportunities that we have locally. And I think I can speak for all of us that our students need to get more of these types of experiences as they move through their school career, to get them prepared for interviewing and for speaking to prospective employers or colleges. So that was a first, and we hope now will become an annual event. And in March, members of our high school Fed Challenge program went to New York City and presented their economic forecast, and you heard a presentation from that group of students at one of our recent board meetings, and we were actually able to see the comments that the people that they presented to made in response to their presentation, which were all very favorable, and again, very proud of the work that our staff and students are doing. And our students continue to be committed to the community of Highland. They participate in enrichment activities that benefit our community as well as the more global state community. And again, you can see pictures of our students that engaged in food drives, in the Valentine's Day luncheon, collecting packages and sending them on to the troops. We have very caring students. This October, I remember some of our board members may have contributed to the sock collection that our elementary school students were engaged in. Staffing changes due to retirement and other staff movement. Custodial work, you may recall, we had left a position unfilled in the 16-17 school year. That position will now be filled moving forward into the 17-18 school year. We have a groundskeeper opening that we are in the process of filling. That's due to a movement of a staff member from one department to another. And the last four are all retirements: the speech teacher at the elementary school, teaching aide at the high school, a cook, and a food service worker. Those are all retirements. And I'll turn it over to Louise.
Thank you. So this budget requires a simple majority. It's a 3.24% budget to budget increase. And the levy increase is 2.9%. And we are right up to, I'll say we are right up and within the levy increase. So this year it's a simple majority required to pass the budget. And then our comparison, current school year, budget is $41,522,000. So for next year, we would need an additional $1.3 million, which would bring us to a $42,866,930. The way that the expenditure portion of that budget is balanced is through the tax levy, which the increase is a 2.9%, or about $750,000 in new tax revenues. A state aid increase, which is almost $600,000, which materializes to be about 4.4%. Other revenues, we have the one remaining pilot and $1.5 million of appropriated fund balance. Again, those are just the revenue factors. I think the most important two factors here are foundation aid. We still have, if the formula were to be funded as written in existing law, we'd have more than $2 million each year that Highland would be getting, and that would, we would have less of a local share. And the other piece that I think is significant this year is that we do anticipate growth in assessed value, which will allow what we anticipate the projected tax rates to be lower than what we're anticipating. Again, this is assuming the assessed value and these increases are based on what we know today, which equalization is 100% along our 5 townships, and assessed value, it shows no growth yet because the assessor doesn't give us that information till first week in July. So it looks like for a home assessed at $100,000, it would be an annual increase of $83, or about $7 a month. Our per pupil spending comparison, this all comes from the data that's in your public budget summary. So the general ed spending per pupil in Highland is $10,976, which similar districts are $11,051. And for all New York State districts, it's $11,949. So we're still well below other area districts and the state average. Total spending per pupil, Highland is $21,814. Similar district is a little bit lower, and statewide throughout the state of New York is $22,556. Again, there's a lag on that data. The state doesn't produce this information until we have audited information. Our proposition is for 8 buses this year, 5 more auto gas propane large buses, and 3 29-passenger buses. Again, this information is, we don't pay for it in the year it's approved. We pay for it a year later when we borrow the funds, and it is aided at 59%. Tax impact for that, for a $100,000 home would be $5.29. Again, that's not a forever increase, it's just for the life of that borrowing. The proposed 17-18 budget maintains all current programs for all 3 of our buildings. Our Board of Ed candidates are, up for the 2 open seats are Alan Barone and Heather Wells. And eligible voters, you need to be 18 years of age or older, a citizen of the United States, a resident of the Highland School District for at least 30 days immediately prior to the vote, and obviously you're going to be a registered voter, or you have to find our district clerk and get her help. The vote is Tuesday, 2 weeks from today, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in the Highland High School band room. Any questions?
Louise, just a quick question on per pupil spending, total spending.
Mm-hmm.
That includes our total budget with all of our children, right?
It does,
Special
including our
ed,
special ed.
Anybody who's placed out of district.
That's why
Okay.
you see the all
Just wanted to-
increases.
I thought so, but I just wanted to put it out there.
You're absolutely right, it's an excellent question. It's kind of, it's broken down in this.
It is,
You see
yeah.
what the cost per
Oh, okay.
special education and general ed.
All those pieces.
Mike, you had a question?
Yeah, we borrow for how long on the buses?
We generally borrow for 5 years.
Oh.
Of course, if I had my way and we started getting more of that foundation aid, I would love to see us just buy 5 buses every year in cash, get all that aid up front and not be borrowing, because it does incur costs, both in interest and legal fees and, doing all of that. But that's a someday goal.
Yeah, just when you brought up the 5 and change, and it said for
Yeah.
the life of the borrowing, it was a natural question to ask usually how long that is. Thank you.
Yes. We do obviously, what happens, start over again. Let's say we're borrowing $1 million. Each year at the end, when that $1 million matures, we have the capacity to pay back more than 20% of it. And if we found ourselves in a positive cash flow environment, that would be a good thing to do. But, and you recall, we did do that a couple of years ago, but so it does, we do have to pay it back within 5 years. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Would either one of the board candidates like to make a statement?
I just want to say, I'm completing my 15th year, and I'm proud to serve on this Board of Education. And most recently, with this group of board members, I think we work well together, and I do like the opportunity to continue working with this Board of Education for the next 3 years. I think I'm going to call it weathered the storm and the economic downfall that we had a bunch of years ago, and a lot of critics said we weren't going to make it through. And here we are, and we're producing a budget that in the past several years has been passed overwhelmingly, and I think that will continue. And I think the mindset of this current board is to definitely look out for the interests of the taxpayers, and also for, most importantly, for the students and also the staff. So I'm anxious to continue on for another 3 years. Thank you.
As a graduate of Highland and also being able to serve in this capacity over the past 3 years, I certainly know just from those experiences how special Highland is, not only as a community but certainly as a district, and how lucky we are to have the staff and the teachers who are so talented and dedicated to everything, dedicated to our children, dedicated to their own craft. So I certainly have enjoyed the past 3 years and look forward to the next 3 years. Thank you.
So I believe that concludes our public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Tom, second by Heather. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, we're gonna stay here,
Um,
and we'll reconvene for our regular meeting at
yeah, Maria, Maria will be in before you shut the doors.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, can I go back? Okay.
Don't shut the doors. And I'm gonna just turn this off. And this is,
Well done.
okay.
Thank you for coming.
No public comment, was already to our meeting. Acceptance of reports. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, approves and acknowledges reviewing the following reports. Board of Education meeting minutes, April 19th, 2017. Have a motion, please. Motion by Deb, second by Mike. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Director's reports, food service, facilities, athletics, transportation, and technology. Anybody have any questions or concerns with the director's reports?
I didn't get a, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get, or didn't I, maybe I
Athletics
didn't
and-
square that
Athletics we
enough?
didn't get, right?
That's
I
correct.
I remember seeing athletic.
Or buildings and grounds.
3 or 4 reports.
I saw Doug's,
Food service facility.
Doug's and food.
Athletic, we didn't get it.
There was just a typo thing with Carol, so that is on it, but it didn't get to you guys until this afternoon.
So Carol's is
So
not
Carol's
now.
is on there,
That's what I thought.
Maria's is on there,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
Because
Doug's,
Carol's, we
Right.
just got.
But no athletics and no direct, facility.
correct.
correct.
Can we just note that? or not?
I didn't run the numbers in my head well enough. How are we standing, as far as the food service? Are we, we're doing much better than we were in last year, right?
Yes, for meal
Doing
counts,
much better.
for meal counts are up, and,
And the deficit is
yes,
shrinking, right?
yes, we had one month where we actually didn't have.
Yes, we weren't in the red.
Yeah.
I think it was the meeting you
Go
were
ahead,
here.
no, you have to
I
tell me, 'cause
announced
when I
that
did
for
it,
the
she
first
wasn't
time, we
wanting to
were
do it.
10,000 were positive. So, you know, Maria, she did caution us that this is the time of year where there's a lot of field trips and a lot of goings on, and students aren't necessarily eating in the program, but it was very encouraging, and we expect that to continue.
And with Doug, kudos to the transportation department, they almost had 100%.
Yeah.
Inspection rating,
Inspection
those
rate.
good mechanics outside for that little break line that I guess they fixed
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
the guy
before we
finished the
left.
report.
Yeah. Can't beat
So
that.
that's, no, it's very good.
Yeah.
That should count.
I saw a news broadcast last night about lunch shaming. And apparently you must be aware of this. What does Highland do to avoid this terrible situation?
Oh, we, lunch shaming is a, the,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
a good example of that could be you get up to the register and the person who's, you know, processing the student for payment says in a loud voice, you have to give the food back, you don't have enough money on your account to pay for your lunch. You know, so that, I think there's other things, but that's
So
the
it's
first one.
comments at the point of sale, insensitivity.
Yeah, insensitivity to a
And,
student,
and
even,
also apparently if you're given a cheese sandwich, that's a sign that you're out of money.
yes, because if people know that, you know, you get a substitute lunch, kids are smart, they figure those things out fairly quickly. So we're in the process of talking about, how much the cost of the alternative lunch is compared to a student taking a regularly prepared lunch. And of course, you know, we, on our superintendent's conference days, we take that time to talk with, you know, have conversations with staff about how to handle, those types of situations with some sensitivity and some, and discretion. These are not conversations that should be made.
So you consider that we have a good handle on it where there's not many,
I don't think it happens very often. I did have a parent call me not too long ago about a situation, and she understood what had transpired, but she was concerned that it was more public than it needed to be, so Maria and I spoke about it.
It's also very nice, the automated system is very, although it's bothersome at times, it's very effective. When the account is
Let you
below
know.
$3, yesterday we got 2 calls saying that our children's account had dropped down.
Uh-huh.
And there were many warnings prior to getting there, so there's a way of letting parents know, so it's not simply an accident or,
Okay.
It's usually
That's
the
good.
children that fit this profile, their parents aren't very responsive to the calls.
Mm.
Unfortunately, sometimes they avoid because they can't replenish.
which, I mean, looking at a cost analysis might be, in those rare circumstances, important.
Well, listen, if it's, that one call, it doesn't seem like being real.
I think
Major issue
overall our
here, would you
staff
say?
is, tries to help those students who don't have the ability to pay for their lunch. Some of them will pay for them for the kids. We've expanded the amount that they can charge by a little bit to accommodate some, give it a little more time, but,
Is a parent able to go into a site and just automatically replenish?
yes, they are. My
So
lunch fund or
they
my
can be-
lunch money.
Oh,
can
great,
also-
so they
I
can just
send
punch
cash
in
in
their
with
cards?
the
Yeah, no, it's my mistake
Just do
too.
it at home.
Okay.
I'll be doing laundry and say.
There
this
is a fee when they do it that way, I think,
Huh.
from
You
the
can also
program
see-
There is.
that runs it.
We have the
You
town.
can see what your child's eating as well.
I was gonna say, is there a way of
Yeah, you can
Yeah, there
actually
is.
find out what they purchased.
And that week down, they were scanning a lot of ice cream.
Yeah.
And you
No,
should
guys,
have
Started
it.
looking a little plump and.
Mine they were handing them out. I want some, and I.
Wants ice cream.
True.
So funny when you think about the kids knowing what they ate for lunch, you can really have a good time with them on that.
Oh, yeah, they don't like that.
It's like they think you have the eyes behind your head.
That's funny. Thanks, Deb.
You're welcome.
Anything else on the director's report? Okay, we'll move on to personnel. Any issues taking personnel as a block from A through F?
I have no issue with that, very straightforward, I think.
All right, we have some new appointments, some permanent, and some retirement, and leave extension, and leave replacement, and a leave request.
Now, Linda can, oh, sorry, I'll ask
We'll
the
do it.
question.
We're okay doing it as a block? Can I have a motion? Motion by
Motion.
Mike, second by Sue. Discussion?
Just a question on those folks going to permanent. You've seen some type of evaluation on them, they're performing well.
Mr. Miller, your
Yes,
three
they are.
permanent appointments?
They are, okay.
There's no issues with any of them that I'm aware of, and I think all three of them actually are performing to the high standards that Mr. Miller said.
Thank you.
And we still have the one position not filled.
Correct,
So-
once the budget is approved on the 16th, then we'll move forward with filling it.
This is exciting for these people to go to permanent, so.
Yeah, that's it. Now, Linda Campbell, she is our bus driver, she's our dispatcher.
She is our dispatcher.
So she is this October 7th is when she'll become permanent?
Correct.
Oh, okay. She passed her test now.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, that's
So once we got the results from the civil service test, that set the clock for her probationary
okay.
appointment, which is 6 months, although she's been doing it provisionally, as we know, civil service doesn't count that time. It's from the time she appeared on the list.
And that we approved last,
Pardon me?
that we approved last meeting.
Correct. Now she's just taking a leave of absence from her bus driver's position now that she has the probationary period.
Okay.
And once she acquires her permanent status, then we'll be able to fill that bus driver slot with a probationary
Okay.
appointment.
All right, so that's what we did that way. I thought she was.
And Stephen Rizzo, as you may recall, the one that he just became permanent as a mechanic, or no, maintenance helper. He was a groundskeeper and he had a leave of absence from his groundskeeping position. Now that he's acquired permanent status, we will interview for a replacement. It's a true vacancy now. So it's kind of a domino. Yes, the groundskeeper, yeah. So it's kind of a domino of that.
So we're currently filling this bus driver position with a sub
Correct,
until she gets her permit.
correct.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our student rep is not
Oh,
here this
she,
evening.
actually she was going to be here, I have not received word, but I know she had something at Ulster Community College graduation, yes, so perhaps she is running
Right,
late.
okay, no problem. Louise? Anything?
I don't have anything to contribute.
Deborah?
Okay. On April 26th, I attended along with the high school principal and some high school staff members, the Mid-Hudson School Study Council's annual meeting where one of our high school English teachers, Steve Masson, was recognized for excellence in teaching. So that was a nice event, and it was gratifying to see one of our teachers recognized for the work that he's doing with students and that he had his colleagues' support. On the morning of April 27th, I had a meeting with the Ulster County Drug Task Force to finalize plans for our forum that is coming up on Thursday, May 18th, starting at 5:30 in the high school auditorium. As you know, we're planning a public forum to help educate our community on the opiate, and heroin addiction. We have confirmed, we have 2 Highland parents who will be speaking. One will open the meeting and another will speak in one of the time slots, along with showing a clip of a video that they've been working on. And when I spoke to Juanita Hotchkiss, who is helping coordinate this from the Drug Task Force, she's apparently heard from some other Highland parents as well, and we don't have that many speaking slots available, but there will be a table with Highland parents who've been dealing with addictions of some form, so that we want to be well represented as a community, and certainly we're hoping that we will get a large turnout for this event. I just got the statistics for Ulster County from Sergeant Rollison this morning or yesterday, and it's very disturbing. So that we feel is a very important educational opportunity for our parents and our students.
Is that the
Yeah.
high school you said?
It's at the high school, it's gonna be in the auditorium.
Okay.
And outside of the auditorium, there will be tables set up with people who provide services and support to families and addicts as well. We're still in the process of confirming the speaker for an addict in recovery. There's a new organization called CAPE, and this person is what they call a recovery coach. And she's a recovering heroin addict, and hopefully we'll be able to get her confirmed as a speaker. Hannaford's is donating water and some refreshments, and again, hopefully, in the next few days, I'll have some flyers. I know Holly Brook is working on putting together the promotional materials, and we'll start getting that information, the signs up and announcements out, and we'll do a robocall when it gets a little
I
closer.
was just gonna say that we're gonna be able to do that for each family.
We-
Are we gonna do middle school and high school, or just gonna do it?
I'm gonna send it out to the entire
Right, district?
district. I don't think it's too soon, especially for parents,
Not for parents, correct?
to really start learning about how to have conversations with their children, because the opiates and the opioids are so different from some of the other things that our kids experiment with.
Some of those facts were very scary that he has shared in past forums, so I agree with you. It's never too soon.
So that's pretty well set. As soon as I have an agenda, and as I said, the promotional materials will be flooding the media with that. Yesterday afternoon, we had a college signing for one of our seniors who's going to swim at, I think St. Petersburg maybe. But it was very nice to be there, and also to have the students thank me and the board for the continued support for that program, which allowed them to finish their senior year and gain status for this scholarship opportunity they've been afforded. So today, Louise and I visited the senior citizens meeting at the American Legion, just to give a brief overview of the budget and also to invite the attendees to come to our senior citizens prom next Thursday at 11 o'clock, the 11th at 5:30, in the high school cafeteria. It's a luau theme, and we let them know that, you know, they could come in theme attire as long as, everything was appropriately covered. So,
Looks good.
we're looking forward to that, and, this Saturday, oh, you'd be surprised. Evening in Paris, French maid, yeah.
See it all, huh?
It was actually fun, and then this Saturday, our students in our Flex program are going to be participating in the Special Olympics at West Point. Opening ceremony is at 9 o'clock, and there's events throughout the day, and at this time, I do plan to be there for the opening ceremony and hopefully be able to see a couple of our students participating, and they're very excited. And so we'll be interested to hear how they all do. I'm sure Dominique will let us know. And maybe we can celebrate their participation in a future board meeting.
Who's providing the shirts?
The Highland Rotary Club provided them with the t-shirts.
Yeah.
And last Saturday, they had, I think they called it Heroes for Heroes. As I said, some new police and some of our town of Lloyd police were here to encourage the students, do some training with them, and just show their support for the students' participation in the event.
That's great,
And that's all I have. I will prepare for the board a list of upcoming celebrations, because they're gonna be starting soon.
And Sarah's not here.
Sarah-
Any questions for Deborah? Good. All right, under Board of Education, new business, contract award for day automation. Be resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, approves to award the Phase 1B district-wide network upgrades as presented to the board for the following contractor. Day automation for $186,197.35. Have a motion, please. Motion by Mike, second by Ed. Discussion?
Is this the funding from the,
Capital project?
is capital project?
It's capital
Okay.
project work, it's not smart schools work.
Not smart
It's
schools,
separate
okay.
and apart from the 667.
And this is access control,
Yes,
correct?
this is still, the
With
smart
security.
school money's, proposal still under review.
Okay, thank you.
And this is state contract also, right, Deborah?
Yes.
So can we just have the minutes reflect that this is state contract, so there, no one looks for a bid at
Right.
5 or 10 years down the road?
Okay, state contract.
Yeah. Normally, this type of thing is a bid award, so, yeah. If we can
Right.
differentiate, I
Yes.
think it would
Okay.
help later.
Approves to award under the state contract for following. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And I believe we're going to have new business for our capital project and discussion on the alternates. As you recall from our last meeting, when we had the Colombo group do the presentation at the elementary school, and there was discussion in regards to moving forward on alternates that were out there versus the new roof, or the coating, recoating of the roof, and what the contingency money that is there right now that we have awarded all our contracts. We do have a chunk of money that's balanced in contingency right now that we can apply to accepting some of these alternates. And the contractors at this point in time, through our construction management firm, are eager to try to get a handle on if we're going to move forward with some of the alternates, because they could, in fact, be able to do some of that work this summer and not wait until next summer. So we need that discussion to see if we're going to move forward with recoating the roofs or accepting some of the alternate pricing for the contract.
So what's the dollar amount threshold that you're looking for?
Well, the running balance, according to the last project budget review that we received from Lou Colombo, we have $931,645.
That's without,
That's without approving any of the alternates. So what you have from Louise is a list of the alternates and what the bid amounts were for that.
What's the amount? Sorry.
931,654.
Right, and if you go to your email, the next day, Lou had emailed that same,
Yep.
right,
Right, the review of the project budgeted. He doesn't have his pages numbered, but it's about in the middle of the presentation.
but then if we decide to do the roof work, that'll give us.
The roof work, total is $879,620 if we add up the bids for the elementary, the high school, and the middle school. So that would take up the preponderance of the balance. I really
So
wouldn't-
these are in addition alternates.
These-
So maybe I can just take everybody through this spreadsheet really quick.
Yeah.
do that.
So what I did is I took the
Yeah.
bids, I think is there an extra one?
I'll show it.
There, yeah,
Sorry,
I wanted you to take
I've
Sarah's.
also made some
Yeah.
notes on here, we were just.
You got one for Sarah or no?
Sarah's not here
I
tonight.
didn't make one, sorry, I must have made exactly the many we needed. But so what I did is these gray shaded lines, I only used those if there were more than one line. So if we look at the bus lift total, and then you go across the page, you'll see that in the bus garage, that's $195,200. Not that you wanna know this, but just so you can see, how my brain processed all this. The first line of 9,000 is the electric portion of a bid alternate. And then the equipment itself, which we'd be buying off a state contract, is estimated to be $180,000. And then the plumbing contract is about $6,200. So the total cost of that total project would be $195,200. So that would be one alternate option. And then you can go to the computer labs and you can just look at the gray line. The high school would be $73,000, middle school $41,000. The corridor lockers in the high school, there's only one prime there, so you only see one line, that's $202,000. So now you can kind of see how I put this
Gotcha.
together.
For the bus lift equipment, is there a reason why that doesn't come over to the total?
We were just, I actually was working on this with Lou Rodriguez, like literally 5 minutes before we started tonight, so I hadn't cleaned up my far
Okay.
right total. But so the reason I didn't have that 180,000 the last time you saw this is because I didn't realize that that piece of equipment we needed, the bus lift itself, was gonna be purchased through a state contract, so we didn't bid it. So we're putting a lot of different pieces together.
So that bus lift is gonna fit exactly where the old one was, with no modifications,
I'm gonna defer to Peter for
GC
that.
wise?
It's supposed to, but there is excavation and concrete work that has to be done.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that
that
your
is.
total cost, or is that gonna be above and beyond?
That'd be
That's not
above and
included,
beyond.
that's not included in that cost, right?
This is the budgeted cost, I believe.
Okay.
And they bid on the two pieces of work that go with it, the electrical and contracting work.
Okay.
We don't necessarily think that that's the end all on that piece of the project.
So is the piece of equipment that we're using now not sufficient, it's old, it's dangerous? Why, what's?
It's
the-
old,
Is that it?
yes, it was replaced once, at least once that I know of
Mhm.
prior to this. But it's in need, it's at a point where it should be replaced.
And is it a danger to our? 'cause
No,
I mean,
it's-
there
but
was
it's-
that fault,
It's been used
It's
for a long
got a
time, and
useful life.
it's
like
reaching
any
its,
equipment, that's what he said.
reaching its end of life.
Okay.
I think some of my understanding is that this is not one of the alternates that is a preferred alternate, I think from the district standpoint. Only because there's other concerns going this route right now with subsoil conditions and
There
such.
should be some unanticipated
More
costs.
Yeah.
So what are your preferred?
Well, like we left at the last meeting, I think everyone was to look at this and see if you had any priority that you thought were, on top of your list, maybe it's the computer lab that's your top priority. If we all agree on that, we can move forward with the computer labs, and maybe then it's, the locker room. I know Mike mentioned corridor locker as one of his
Sort of,
priorities.
I just don't know what's going on with those labs. Oh, they're cutting the floor and putting all the electrical inside. So 2 rooms, 100
For- I
grand.
believe for new configuration
3 rooms,
of
100 grand.
stations, right, computer stations.
There was a preliminary design of the labs that was done, and that configuration that they are doing the electrical for relates to that preliminary design.
And a preliminary design that was reviewed by district and accepted by district?
I don't know if it was accepted, it was reviewed, but it was not, I don't think it was totally vetted.
See, that's, I mean, from my standpoint, that's the concern I have, that some of our, and that's why I'd asked for the Palumbo group to be here last week, to kind of give the entire board an understanding where we are and where we're going. I want to make sure that this capital project satisfies district and staff as far as concerns and how we're laying out, even our home ec room, is it laid out per the district also, not just our design.
Right, and Lou was clear, it's the total gutting of the room and redoing it with the wire and that, but it didn't even include equipment. And we don't have, at least in this building, a computer program that I'm aware of. Yes, in the middle school, we're still trying to resurrect it at the elementary that would absorb that kind of money. I mean, I still walk into labs and I see surface-mounted raceway. You've got power poles in there that supply the necessary power and data drops. Is it worth 100,000 against some of these other items? With that, sometimes with these IT spaces, they'll actually give, I don't see a 3D mock-up. Like in the past, we got a 3D mock-up of the room and this is what it will look like. You get one, this flat screen on the wall, but I mean, is
That's
it
something we can request, we can have Pat
AC,
Flynn come in
what is,
from.
or a floor plan of that space?
I'm not sure if the architectural drawings, the current drawings that contractors bid off of, actually show elevations of,
The bid specification said designed by others. No, it said design provided by owner. That's what it says in the bid spec, I believe. That's,
so we're just doing
Just-
rough in electric and data drops, basically, I think. Because
that's my impression, yes.
That was my impression as well, yeah.
Because it's actually electric
Does
is
Carol
20.
say, I need this? Deb, I need this, gotta
I
have it.
don't know that it would come from Carol, more so maybe from the principals and director of technology, but for the instructional spaces, the conversation when we first talked about the computer labs was making them more flexible spaces. Right now, you've been in the elementary school, they're just lined up around the perimeter of the wall.
Right.
I was in the technology teacher in middle school's classroom recently for a classroom observation. And again, all the desks face the wall and face the monitors. And when she tried to have, when the students were doing some group work, which was part of the instruction, that space, the way it's set up, doesn't lend itself to much more than the kids sitting there doing this, looking at the screen. They have the one screen in the front of the room, and they have a similar setup in the elementary school. So the idea, as I recall, now this goes back a number of years ago, was to put power, and make power available so that they could have centers. It wasn't a configuration that you couldn't really move or do anything other
Right.
than what they're doing right now.
But I think my concern is, though you'll provide that power and those drops that offer the flexibility, there's not money for the furniture.
No, I understand what your
There's,
concern is.
so maybe, I think I need a visual on the space before I commit over $100,000 to making up 3 classrooms.
Well, and I think,
Well, that's only 2, because the one's already in the
elementary
base, the
school.
elementary's already in the base bid,
Yeah.
so it's
Okay.
114,000 for 2,
For two.
2 campuses.
No, the
middle and
elementary,
high school.
the elementary school, they've already done the trench in the
Yeah,
floor.
Okay.
That was needed because of other.
Well, anyway, just there's some
All right,
clarity needed.
so that one's a
potentially
hold.
We'll go right down,
Well-
and we could bring Pat in for that. Corridor lockers at the high school. That's replacing all the corridor lockers that are vintage 1963, 60, whatever,
Yeah, I think you're right on
for 202,000. And we heard Caitlin at the last meeting mention that, they're not used, and if they were larger, they might be used. Now, I don't know if they'll be used 100% or not.
that. I have a follow-up question about this. Because at least the material that these lockers are made of lend themselves to repair. Because I believe it's a higher gauge material, these lockers, than what potentially might be replaced. Is that a concern you have?
that's a concern,
Maintenance.
that's a concern I have based on the lockers that were installed in 2001-03 for the the locker rooms not being a high enough grade to be able to withstand being yanked open and things like that. I had started to look into that with Kevin Kahn as to what the specification actually was to make sure. And I was assured, but I hadn't seen it myself, that they were a better quality than the Lions lockers that were put in the athletic rooms.
I spoke to my own boys about this. Of course, the middle school lockers are different, and they do use them, and they're up and down and have a little breath to them, but, I think they backed up what I've heard some other students say, I prefer to have everything with me. It's a long distance, I'm
They
going
take their
back and
backpacks.
forth, you're checking with teachers, you're following up, the time goes quickly, I don't, so I started to get some feedback where kids like their stuff with them, we do too. We pack all our stuff and we go. The other thing I started to think about is at least, one of the reasons why they've lasted since 1963 is because the material that these lockers are made of are of a higher gauge
Yeah, they're battleship
and
ready.
repairable. So I started to think about, I'd be concerned if we put something in there that's of lesser quality because they just don't make them like that anymore, and their repairability, so. I think my position on the lockers have softened a little bit. Because I think I'm the only one saying, I gotta have it. And I've gotta listen to that too.
We had some conversations on this when we were talking about replacing the locker, and I did a little research on it and whatever, and I'm no expert, but I do know that they're building a lot of high schools without lockers in today's day and age. You know,
Well,
Midwest,
it's, if you're going
Midwest high schools don't have
one-to-one,
lockers.
more computer-based learning, it's,
You don't
that's your
have
locker.
That's your
Yeah.
locker, yeah.
You don't need
Right.
the stuff,
Right, you don't, right.
So,
You need stuff.
anyway,
So hold.
what's the feeling with the generators?
Just going back to the
Oh,
lockers, I
let's
think
go.
this is
Oh,
probably
sorry.
something we should have vetted before, but, I mean, just from a administrative standpoint, I know they issue lockers to each student at the beginning of the school
Mhm.
year.
They do.
I would like to know how many students actually use their lockers throughout the school year. I mean, if it's only 50%, then maybe we put in half of the
lockers,
required
that's a good idea.
amount and issue locks to those students that really want to utilize a locker.
Because
Well,
we
I-
should provide space for those who want them.
I think 100% of the students in the middle school use their lockers.
Yeah,
When they get here and they see these little cubbies, they like, nothing fits in them. They can't put a
true, I agree.
backpack or anything, and that changes the usage number. If the lockers were the same 15 by 18
With
by
backpack.
21 that they are down there, they may say, oh, this is great, I can throw my backpack in there.
Which is what would be spec'd out.
Correct.
I mean, they go larger.
And-
They're up and down, right?
Correct, up and down lockers. There are school districts also that, because of security, don't allow backpacks to be carried around.
I mean, in the wintertime, do you want a student wearing their winter coat all around
Yeah.
school all day?
Well, that's it, we gotta
They don't
provide
wear
them with
'em.
something.
They don't wear
Wear
all.
shorts.
Yeah, so cool.
Kids wear shorts today in the wintertime.
I don't, you know,
cold.
again,
No,
I'm
some
not,
do.
I'm not hearing a strong advocacy from the high school principals saying, look, I need these lockers, they're vintage. I think aside from me, I haven't heard anybody say it.
I'm going
So
to
I have-
email Mr. Harris right now, so.
I think that.
Yeah, I have to listen to that
Yeah.
too.
Feedback from
All right.
the users.
But I
So-
think you're right, Alan, maybe go with half the amount, I mean,
Well,
really, because,
you know, we have to make, and that's,
But you
and
have
that
to-
might not be beneficial at this stage, because going back to a contractor and asking for a credit
Yeah.
of the 202,000, we might only
No,
get.
no, no, we'll take the money, we'll take the options, you know?
But half would probably save us $30,000, not $100,000.
Yeah, it might not save us the 100, it might only save us 25 or 30, we don't know. The generators,
I think they're a good idea.
What are they gonna do for us in each building? What
The
will
generator in the
we-
high school is pretty much
that's the one.
critically important because of the IT support.
Yeah.
And, of course, all buildings, we have freezer, food storage and stuff that we have to deal with.
And the electronics at all schools that.
Well, the most important one is the high school, electronics, phones, all the stuff that goes with the IT.
But that's not.
The elementary school is second because basically the middle school runs through the elementary school to get to the network, so,
The high school's already getting a generator, Sue.
yes. The
It's
generator in the high
inside,
school is
so
in
that's
base
not
bid.
part
It's
of
not
the
an
discussion.
alternate because
It's
it's
in-
part of the base bid.
So-
So the
Yeah.
alternate for the.
So
That's
we're
it,
getting-
really.
I don't know what these will
Supporting
do for us.
communications,
Yeah, I think,
Elementary.
Well, we had a
kitchen,
power outage
stuff
at the
like that.
elementary
Elementary
school
school.
not
That's
too
it.
long ago, right?
Yeah,
We-
with their food.
Freezers,
supplies
communications,
resolved.
IT,
I
phone
see.
systems, alarm systems, things like that. There's
Yeah,
four
they have to-
generators,
they have to
there's
use
4
their
generators in the
locks.
project.
Right.
What,
The high school is the only one that's base bid.
what happens with our security systems because we don't have these yet, but when they come into place, including the doors with the automatic locks that are wired in the case of a power outage?
These would be automatic kick on.
You know, we're gonna have the
Yes.
security.
They wouldn't have access to them. If you lost total power in a building, you wouldn't be able to access with your
You have
car.
to, no, anybody that have to get in the building would have to get in with a key.
And getting out would be the breaker bars, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I,
They
you
wouldn't be able
know,
to exit, they wouldn't
we,
be able to.
we got the one at Marlboro High School. I don't know what that does for the district.
Okay.
And it was a big amount.
So this amount is for elementary school, middle
Might be
school?
worth calling Larry
Bus
Cavazza
garage,
And
and
middle,
bus
seeing if
garage?
that,
and middle,
elementary, middle bus garage.
and it's 300,000.
305,000 if we were to ask for all three of these.
So what say you, Peter?
Is there any logic why the middle school is almost double the other two buildings as far as total?
Is that wiring to get it through the elementary school, Peter? I
I
had the
know,
same
I-
question.
I don't know that.
It's sitting on rock or something like that?
I,
Because
the
of-
No,
high
it's
school's
just the
already in,
generator,
that's wonderful.
the generator at the
Because
middle
they do have
school
facilities.
is, the generator at the middle school and the generator at the elementary school are going where the oil tanks are.
they should
Okay,
be
the
able to-
generator in the high school is going in the boiler room where the freezer is.
middle school.
So is it really well spent?
I think that's,
I don't know enough.
the role of the bid, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I think that's all it is.
Okay. I don't know,
For the bus garage?
Locker rooms at the high
Generators.
school,
So did
that,
we say yes or no? We said a no
well,
or
we're gonna
no?
go through them all.
Yeah, I
and come
think
back.
we're just vetting these,
Yeah.
so.
What
we're
about-
Alright.
gonna
We
come
covered
back around.
as far as the amount, but what is lost to the bus garage in terms of a power issue?
That basically is for phone support, because if you have a power outage, when you have kids out and everything's going on, make sure that you have communication, whether it's with the radios, or because portables will last for a while, but I mean, radios, telephones, anything else that you need over there for communication.
Fuel dispensing also,
What?
fuel dispensing?
Does it affect any of the propane?
Yeah, I don't know if that would be hooked up to it, but, you know,
Okay.
Do we have any underground provisions right now that we can backfeed the generator that's gonna go here to feed those critical components at the bus
For
garage
communications?
as part of a change order?
You're gonna lose a lot of weight, sawing up
I'm
that
not going with
blacktop.
81,000 and just backfeeding
Well-
those critical
Unless we got
components.
poles.
it would probably change the sizing of the generator.
Is the same database?
Just to pick up
exist in this
phones and.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Does the same contact
I don't-
database exist in this building? I'm saying, in that scenario, it's a walk across the parking lot in the case of a power outage and emergency.
Well, maybe this will help. We have power outage at the elementary
So
school.
they have nothing.
In the late afternoon, we have no power. The emergency lighting was on, right? No one could call in or out. We had, they'd used the radios, they couldn't use the, PA system for dismissal. I mean, they managed it beautifully. And, I think there might have been a 5-minute delay in, the buses. But we did a call to the parents from another location on our robo system. Gave them a cell phone number to call because in that building in particular, in the afternoon, lots of phone calls come in about changes and arrangements for students being transported home. Again, we were able to accommodate by giving people a number to call. What other things did we have to,
It's very
Well,
stressful.
the only
It's a tough
thing-
environment.
Well, the kids
The
were
biggest
dark.
thing about it was that
kids
it
were
was,
fine.
short-term,
Yeah.
because dismissal happened. What would happen there was, and it would have had a lot of confusion, that the radio system works off a repeater, which has a battery in it which lasts, pick a time, an hour, maybe, okay? If you went beyond that hour, then you'd have to get everybody to go back to radios that were not talking to a repeater, but talking to each other, and then in a big building, they won't make it. Emergency lighting goes on for 20 to 60 minutes, and then it goes dark. So there's a lot of,
It's all
different.
short, all the backups are short-lived. There's-
yeah.
I said, luckily, it was only about an hour or so
It's a good spending of money.
before dismissal. We had flashlights in our to-go bags that
Yeah, that's
These
not-
generators
could
could power the
use-
entire building fully, is that?
No.
So for-
So
No,
that would be my
emergency stuff.
question,
Yeah, but we're
what
still gonna be.
would
evacuating
the
buildings,
generators
correct?
support in a situation like that?
The generators were basically designed for minimal HVAC controls, things like that. IT, computer backup, phone systems, and refrigeration
In kitchen.
services, and
Full
some
product.
kitchen stuff,
What we said, the high schools is in.
Yes.
yes.
High school's in, I mean, my take on the generators, and you can tell me,
That does seem like a lot for the
would
bus.
be going to, putting one at the elementary school, because that would support that campus. Middle school is relatively nearby, they had to transfer students down there in case of an emergency, with a building that's running on the generator power for communication, refrigeration, in a major situation, we don't know. This campus has already has the generator, this would be, pick up the western part of the town of Lloyd, our school district, so we'll be able to service this area, plus our own students and staff. And that building would be able to service
I guess that's
the
the
east
great
part of
cost of value.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
And,
Provides other
I
options.
mean, you're looking at $82,000, you'll have a generator at the elementary school.
Yeah.
And need be, you can probably shift food from middle school to both locations, half and half, and still be able to keep them refrigerated, I would think.
Well, it depends on
And it's something we could.
How long?
how long and what's going on.
Right,
And if these, we could, at a later budget date, if we decide it's a valuable thing to add to buildings, we can
Right.
figure that into a budget at another,
Right.
to the middle school or to the bus stop.
And at the end of this whole process, there is still contingency money built into the contract that come to September 2018, we might have a better handle on what's left on the contingency piece. Locker rooms, that's strictly the high school, both boys and girls, correct, Peter?
Correct.
Boys and girls locker room
The team room,
renovation for the
basically.
team rooms. New lockers, right now there are no lockers in the boys' team room.
Right, they're not even being used, are they? Is lockers the way to go in those spaces?
Well, the design concept for the team rooms was more of a, and I don't want to make this sound the way it is, but more of a NFL type team room, not lockers as much as a cubby type situation.
Yeah, they're more durable.
Yeah.
right. And then that room gets locked, I guess, right?
Correct.
So basically perimeter, and then meeting space.
And then teaching and coaching.
Teaching, coaching, and whatever in the middle.
Right, leaves a space in the middle where they can, you know, when they're having a halftime meeting or whatever, they can have it there and do what they gotta do.
Roofing, we already vetted that at the last meeting, we talked about the roofing.
Could I ask a question about the roofing, just so I understand this? You're saying that if we were to spend this, we would get 15 more years worth of use on the roof?
We would get a warranty for 15 more years.
And what does a warranty mean? Does that mean we would not have to spend
We would not have to
Money?
spend any money for
15 years?
15 years.
So there's 879,000. And what are we looking at for a full roof project? Did he say something around 8 million?
No, I
Oh,
don't
I
think
heard
it was that
three.
high. I thought 4 or 5 million. That
For
would give
30
you a
years.
40-year warranty.
I thought he said 30.
I believe,
40.
I think it was based on
40.
40.
But then you're dealing with the new materials.
Yeah, wasn't that what it
Yeah,
said?
the issue right now is that $900,000 is coating only. We don't know what the condition of the current roof is once they get into it, because there are some unit prices built in to do, what if, an infrared study prior to them starting the roof shows more damage than what's delineated on the bidding documents that the contractors bid on, might increase that dollar amount a little bit more. So you might end up with 1.2, 1.3 million, and, you know,
Well, we looked
I'm
at
not
that.
sure.
We looked at that as far as what the unit price was per 10 square foot was, I think it was between 60 and 70 bucks, something like that. If I recall, $7 a square foot or something like that. So, and we did some calculations based on if it was twice as bad as it was, where it would take us, and it's not
Not that much.
It's not that much money. It would probably be, at the worst case, and don't hold me to this, I think I figured it out, something like $300,000 would be maximum that it would be if it was.
In addition to that.
Yeah.
So 1.2 million.
So it's your professional opinion
Well, we
that
got-
we should not look at this for 15 years, we should go for the whole thing, a whole replacement?
We're putting a lot
For-
of money into the inside of the schools.
But no, I'm talking about just
No, that's
So
what.
getting rid of this 15-year extension of our life, the roof life.
Catch up to us eventually. And we're putting a lot of money into the insides.
I-
It's inside, so why not
But just, do you
protect
see
it
where I'm
better?
saying with the
No,
money?
I-
the money.
Trying to
There's-
balance.
Yeah, I'm trying to balance, that's, yes.
There's a couple ways of looking at that, okay? The roofs right now are actually in better shape than they were when we did them 10 years ago. We've had some issues and things that have popped up that, you know, are here and there, but they're actually in better shape than they were 10 years ago. Whether that is the process that we want to use, number one. Number two, what we want to do with the money to finish the project. And whether we want to look at finishing the project to the most part with the balance of the money. And then looking at doing something with the roofs, either early 2018, whichever method that could go to, and combine that with the cow wall issue in the library, which if you did a roofing project for 2018 and included the cow wall, which has a estimated 3-year lifespan, end of life type of thing, then you could say, okay, we're gonna finish the project with the monies that we have, rebid or do whatever for the same thing or a different process based on whatever your experts and engineers say the costs are gonna be. I mean, you could still potentially hit the roofs before the end of the warranty, if you were gonna stay with the same system.
Yeah, no, you're
And
right.
and therein lies my concern, that we are locked in to this roofing technology when there's other roofing technologies out there.
Well, the other thing is that if you did, and I'm not an advocate of either, because this is kind of a gone by roofing technology, okay? We're moving on into newer and better stuff.
Right.
But the bottom line is that if you did the 15-year warranty, it would probably be the cheapest 15 years. To, you know what I mean, to get through that 15-year period.
Yes, yes. Cheap
Yeah. but it
is
at
one way to
best.
go. The problem is, we know we have penetrations as we speak right now.
Yeah, well,
The
Wherever it's
studies
moved.
show that, there's pockets of moisture, and, we know that, you know, there's been several penetrations up there on each building, because you're changing out equipment or condensers and things of this nature, construction is going on, it just seemed like, and trying to get them back on warranty, I don't think it's timely. I mean, I don't know, is it timely? You call them, they come?
Well,
within a
yes,
reasonable
they've
period?
actually been, I would say, pretty responsive with what they did. They came down here and worked on the middle school gym roof
Mhm.
in temperatures and conditions that are not appropriate for that kind of roofing and solved our leak problem. They are coming back to address the issues that we have had, where we know we have leaks, and we've written down all the room numbers and things where they are, so they're gonna address all those issues. I don't think that's as bad as it seems like it is. You got 300,000 square foot of roof, you know.
Peter, without,
So, you know, 15 years for $1 million versus, you know.
my question,
I
without,
mean,
without the warranty, what is our staff capable of remediating? I mean, because we're assuming, as soon as the warranty's out, there are roofs are, but that's
Well,
not the case. It's
and that's an issue,
how can we
because
maintain and remediate?
what we do is we walk the roofs constantly, and we caught issues because there's little cracks and things that form. Last year was very rough on roofs, with a very hot summer and the very cold right off the bat. So you caulk what you can find, all right? You could theoretically buy an infrared camera and walk around on the roof and maybe find some of the issues and determine where it's coming from. I don't know if that would be successful, but if the roof warranty ran out and then you had issues, I'm not sure that the expense would be reasonable to repair a roof at that point in time. So I think you'd have to make some decision of what you were gonna do with the roof if you let the warranty run out.
I think that the difficulty with the roof is if you select it, you don't have any of these other options. It's, you
Well,
know,
I'm
you
not-
gotta go
and
all
I'm-
in the roof.
I'm saying that if my thought process is you take the alts now, except for the roof, and then you address the roof going into 2018.
Possibly down the road.
Well, that was my point, was that, I mean.
I think to answer
we think of
Sue's, go ahead.
No, my only point was that the roof isn't a drop dead issue. If we don't take the warranty, we can maintain, as long as we have a plan to eventually take care of all the roofing structures in the manner which we think is most viable. But I appreciate Sue's concerns about the price tag on replacing that roof, but I think what we're at, and as you pointed out, I think very well, Mike, is that there are issues that are occurring now that even the warranty won't handle, and eventually we're gonna have to look at it as well, as far as structural, and penetration, and the gymnasium was one that we were talking about, the materials the gymnasium roof was made from.
Right.
It's,
But I think the other thing that I look at is, if you look at the far right, the bottom number is $2.4 million. Unfortunately, with some of the delays with SED doing approvals, and we lost that unique bidding climate that was out there for municipal work. It's changed tremendously in the last year. That's why we're in that situation where we're 2.4 million over budget, not over budget, I wanna clarify that.
Right.
You take that 931,000 that we have right now, so you're 1.4, we still have contingency money. So I think, and the history of the whole project was that the roofs weren't gonna be done until 17, 18. Basically the year of 18, because that's when the expiration of the warranty was in September, I think, of 2018. So I look at it that we're giving the community pretty much what they're looking for. In my mind, because we have those small issues with the roof, and we now have, since the inception of this project, a major concern with our cow wall system, which is the roof on the immediate center of the high school.
Yeah.
That has deteriorated tremendously over the last couple of years, that we weren't aware that was gonna happen. That and possibly looking at going to another roof system at this point in time, because we do not have the money to finish the entire scope of the project based on the $17.5 million. So my feeling is, let's hold the roof and maybe incorporate that with the cow wall roof and do it and get the best bang for our buck, and something that the district can hang their hat on for the next 40 years and have a warranty on it, and get all these other items done with the balance of the money we have right now. So, and I know you're concerned, do you spend the $1 million now, or do you spend the $4 million, with the roof? And what do you gain? I don't know.
And one of the ideas that we had discussed previously was, again, inviting back some of the original
Yes.
facilities needs
I like
committee
that.
members, to have a conversation with them about our thoughts about the roof,
Yes.
and get some feedback.
And I look at it,
I'm not a
No,
facilities,
I look at it
I
this,
think we,
yep,
I think,
just
again,
wanna make sure we're spending our money wisely.
get as much of the project completed as we can. And as Alan points out, we still will have contingency money that may allow us to do whatever we feel is best with the
as
roof.
far as the years, I mean, I look at the $1 million we have to spend now to recoat and get 15 years out of it. It's what, $75,000 a year? If you spend $4 million and get 40 years out of it, it's $100,000 a year. You're getting that much more. I mean, I'm kind of trying to do a comparison
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
For $4 million now, you're gonna get 40 years. For $1 million now, you're gonna get 15 years.
I honestly thought that number was bigger.
I think it is a little bigger, but.
What, the roof number?
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think it's
sure.
bigger than that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's 8 million though.
Huh?
8 million seems awfully
I
high.
thought if you included the
I think
cow
that's
roof
the number
system.
he told
Oh, I don't
me.
even know if we got an estimate on.
No, I got an estimate on the materials I got the 2014 estimate on the cow wall materials. And they told me that the installation was a little over double the material.
We just copper over that
So which is,
It's roughly, if I was gonna grab a number out of the air, I'd say $650,000 to $750,000.
yeah, I thought it was around 6 range, everything.
Yeah,
I have a question.
possibility, I'm not sure. I know the numbers were thrown out there, $18 a square foot times whatever.
For-
Even I think it went
Yeah.
down to 20.
I think it was 18 to
What are we talking
$20
about,
square
for-
foot.
Roofing?
For new, rip off and new.
Well, and I had a conversation that gave me higher numbers than that, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I think those are the ones we
Yeah,
got.
but when you rip off and get new, you get all
Regional,
new
they-
flashing,
Yeah,
you
they
Yeah.
get all,
put a
you
regional
know, it's
installation in there.
a lot of square footage, those roofs.
And with that, also when you do a complete rip-off, those that have metal decks and those that have the old Tectum decks,
Right.
you might identify some areas that are compromised, and you get those replaced, and now you have, a completely new roof system.
Repitch the drainage areas
All
to
through the Tectum part of
the
the
drain,
facility. So I think,
Alright, talk that to death, okay.
no, we can talk you out of it.
No, I just.
It's value.
If we
No, I
went-
just wanna make sure.
If we went with a replacement, okay, say we went that route, how long would our roofs be without anything for one peak? Is that gonna be a problem? I mean, can you, because we can't extend it any further?
You're
I
paying
think
time
our
and material.
discussion would be, do we bring the facilities, or the group that's still interested back with the support service, and put a plan in place, how we wanna move forward? Do we wanna
'Cause it would have to
start the
be
ball rolling,
down.
initiating possibly a new referendum?
Mhm.
And can it be put in place sometime next year? And I know the roof systems, and I think Lou even said that, from Palumbo said that, the SED approval on that is a lot quicker than a full-blown capital project.
Oh, okay.
So it could be within
So it could move, yeah.
2 years from now, all said and done, I don't know.
We
I
also
think,
have that
can
other
we buy a
falling
year
off
of-
debt, that other
Right.
piece of
In-house
falling off
repair?
debt.
So part of the discussion, I know it's following into when there's a new roof structure, the possibility of including solar options and other issues that might be,
Right, we talked about that,
Green.
support service, yeah. And that in combination, you know, might be attractive to the community too. We're going somewhat green also.
So it looks like if the priorities
We
are,
got one more to
oh,
go,
sorry,
toilet room.
toilet room,
Or the stage lighting,
yeah, okay, sorry, jumping
Stage-
ahead.
yeah.
Do they create a lot of heat,
What's that?
those lights on the stage? They create a lot of heat?
I only say that because we're paying to cool that space. So I'm just
Well, no,
curious.
Well,
Marion said it.
Is this stage lighting, is this just above the stage proper, or is this including the Fennels in the house? Or this
I
stage
believe it
lighting
was just
number?
the
It's
stage
just on the
light.
stage itself?
I mean, the conversation we had was that it's not Broadway. It's not running every day, it's not running every week.
I mean, the system's antiquated, but where it needs to be addressed isn't on the stage proper. What needs to be addressed is the house, and I know that's a bigger issue.
Well, that-
But not just the house lights, but also the fact that they use follow spots on that stage, I haven't seen that since 1960-something. I mean, the actual lighting should be coming from.
Just after we're all born, right?
Yeah, actually, the modern way of lighting the stage, it doesn't involve using those, where they're up on the catwalks. We don't use those anymore. They're all actually pipes on the left house and right house that run the full length vertically. And then they position the lights off of those posts and use those to zero in on the stage. So it wouldn't involve going into the ceiling.
Facilities when Pete retires.
What?
He's gonna take over director of facilities when you retire.
What, the toilet rooms, all,
All at the middle school, no, first and second floor, Pete, gang toilets, I think it is.
oh, those are all at the middle school?
Yes.
Yes.
All at the middle school.
We're talking
We're doing the high school, finally we're doing the ones here
Those
on
two
the,
down here, yeah.
Okay.
after,
God bless.
yeah, no,
They-
they were in the
They-
2000 project and we're taking out, but.
Yeah.
So Pete, that's 4 individual bathrooms altogether,
I think the middle school kind of.
Excuse me?
4 individual bathrooms altogether,
How many bathrooms and stuff?
girls and boys first floor, girls and boys second floor,
Yes.
okay.
I don't believe they're as bad as here, in middle school. They're somewhat dated.
They give you
At least,
crumbs.
at least one of them is as bad as this,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you get any feedback from Dan on how strongly he feels about this?
Well, when we originally talked about the project, that those were,
Dated.
yes.
The boys' bathroom on the first floor is pretty much embarrassing.
Well, we should
You know, the
Oh,
stalls,
boy.
the doors and
I
that.
mean, I really wanna address things that kids use every day. I want,
Well, yeah.
so much of this is going to infrastructure and
Well,
operation,
that's
and
it,
it should.
yeah.
The partitions in that bathroom there are concrete
This
blocks.
I agree
idea
with you.
to address some of the things that
The kids.
they use
At
every
least
day.
comfort, yeah.
I'm in with the middle school bathrooms
Yeah.
personally.
Me too, me too.
If you're doing some here,
Yeah.
it moves it in the right direction. Big nugget though.
Okay, let's go back to the comp and see where we are.
What's that?
90 grand per bathroom.
Per-
Still, it's,
per again, for
You
board.
can't put a price on a toilet,
Location,
Tom.
Yeah.
Apparently it's 90 grand.
Depends on how bad you need it.
In truth, is this all the, so very, I'm sure high efficiency appliances, saving water, all that
Yeah,
stuff?
saving
I'm sure it's.
Motion censored, Zerns,
That's 90 grand.
no?
I couldn't tell you that at this
We
point.
can go
But I
back
would-
to.
I would,
location.
I would
Motion
say,
activated,
I would say that they
Those are
probably are because it's
highly
gotta be
efficient.
compliant.
They've got it.
Yeah, I agree.
okay. We'll hold you to that, Louise.
So-
Okay, we'll go back up to the top,
Okay,
the bus lift.
not if you're. you don't
I
think
like
we
that
should-
bus lift, personally. We have our own fleet.
But he said we shouldn't go because of bigger issues, wasn't that what the facilities?
Potential for,
So
opening up a can of
it'll
worms.
be a lot more, you're thinking
Yeah.
more, a lot more
Because of ground
cost.
conditions. There is no issue.
So we should be careful. So what do we do?
Because that's embedded in, why not a surface system?
That would change the whole design, but it is something that, we can
Pro-
obtain at some
The
point.
problem is that,
They wanna be in the shop?
no, we have to find a solution somewhere along the line that allows us to either sufficiently maintain that or replace components of it, so we don't have to touch the floor. Because you can't go to a wheel lift type device, because when they do bus inspections, the wheels have to turn and everything. Also, they don't want a whole lot of superstructure under the bus, because when the bus inspector goes around and looks at everything, there can't be anything in his way. So we looked at different types of scissor lifts, we looked at different kinds of post lifts, we looked at different things. And the two-post lift that we use is basically,
That's the one.
that's the one the inspectors like to see, because that's where they can put the bus up and see everything and do everything they have to do with that bus. But I think we need to do more work before we decide to start
Replace.
chipping concrete over there.
Yeah, okay.
So we're really not ready to
We're getting
move
rid
on.
of
Okay,
that.
that's what they just said.
Future testing.
That's what it said.
Computer labs. You want a little bit more background on that, right, Mike?
I've got hold for a visual.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I have hold.
You know, but if I'm the only one, and you guys.
You know what I was gonna
No,
suggest,
no,
why
no,
don't we,
no.
Alan, maybe you wanna start with what you can't do without, and then,
Well, that's what, I mean, I'm not,
That's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do.
without principles, I gotta have that. Can't, gotta have that. I'm not, you know.
Well, what I've heard, I think we can't do without is the middle school bathroom.
That's,
That hurt.
that's what we agree on.
Is that what I'm hearing from everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what
So
about
there's-
LED lighting?
There's
What did we decide on
360,
that?
there's 370.
What did we decide on the lighting?
It's used
We
very-
got $474 to go.
I think I'm not trying to pick a fight, but I think the LED lighting is a
No, I don't think,
luxury.
I don't think, I agree with you. If it's just replacing on stage, I don't think it's necessary. I think there are other things that should be done
I agree.
prior to that.
That'd be, you know, some kind of central Hudson.
But I do
So we're
think there should be
taking that
attention
out?
given to
We're
them.
gonna hold
I think we can hold it, we won't
Hold it,
avoid
right.
it.
Hold it for future.
I feel like this is like.
High school locker rooms, team locker rooms?
I see you a
Is that-
bathroom
that-
and
did
raise
say-
you a
is that with
generator.
the cubbies?
It's called-
No,
That's with the locker room.
that's
The
creating
lockers,
lockers on the perimeter of a room in the center of the room for meetings and team discussions and such.
Oh, so we're actually gonna put lockers in there.
Right, but I think it's also going to have some of those cubby type of things too, for
Yeah,
hanging helmets and
right.
Dry racks.
gear and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, right?
Yes,
haven't we heard both Frank Alfonso and Peter Harris talk about the necessity?
yes.
And Peter, I remember our tour,
Okay,
it was
so-
kind of.
What's the
Almost like-
priority one?
Can we circle back just for a second, because I'm not sure, in the original scope of the project, it was a little bit before my time. The stage, the dimmer panel in the back, is that getting moved?
That's getting moved into the,
Yes,
Okay, so it
and
is.
sound
Yeah,
Yeah, because
system.
that location was, you
Oh,
can't hear anything in the wings.
I don't know if we ever thought to put that there, the noise.
You're
it's-
replacing it.
Yeah, the lights and the sound system will be
Yeah, because
moved
it
and
doesn't belong,
replaced.
it belongs
Yeah,
actually
it's
on the other end of the house, not, but, okay, so that's being handled.
Yes, and there's, will be a new curtain, there will be a new,
Yeah, there's
screen.
upgrades, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so, but none of them are lighting, it's just, is there a lighting upgrade included in the actual project?
I believe.
There is
there's some.
a improvement to the lights The 11 lights that are across.
Right,
the-
okay, yeah, so that means,
Only 4 of them work, they're supposed to be all made to work.
okay, those are the ones I'm speaking of, that, in the house, if you run vertical
Yeah, that
poles on
you
the other
use.
side, and you use those in place of the, you don't actually have to, use those as your spots.
So there's both in that
Yeah.
auditorium right now. There's poles on the side,
You have the
there's
hanging.
house
And-
lights,
and-
yeah.
So, yeah, the LED, I don't think it's just, yeah, the amount of money you save is not, and the lighting is just as effective.
So far, we're looking at the toilet rooms at the middle school and the team lockers at the high school. Right now, it totals $511,000. You have the computer labs, you have the corridor lockers, you have the generators, and you have the LED lightings.
LED lighting
So
out.
put that, the
LED.
computer labs in that amount.
Well, I was gonna say, and Alan, didn't I hear you say the elementary school generator?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
you
that's
said yes
82,
on
that's
that.
82,000, and that can go in.
You know, before,
Can you take just the elementary school? You can, right?
yes,
Yes, they bid them by campus,
Okay, good.
so that we can take the alternates by campus.
So with the elementary school generator at 593,
Yes.
you can put the computer lab in there and still have some money left over as a cushion.
And you could also put the lockers or the LED lighting and still be within that
I
buffer.
mean, as far as the, not to just beat a
I'm
dead
just
horse,
saying.
the LED, no, the LED lighting, the one aspect I just remembered is, it's not so much a heat issue, Mike, it's that the current system that's set up, you have to put gels in each and every bowl
231,000 left.
and then wire it in, if you wanna change the color of
Yeah,
the stage. But with LEDs, you can actually program in, because each bulb is designed to change color.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's actually a functionality issue.
That's nice.
Right now, we would, but they want 141,000.
Where are we? So we have the elementary generator,
Elementary
Locker rooms.
janitor,
And
locker
toilet
rooms and toilet
That's
rooms.
592,553 on mine.
So what I did is I made this be priority 1, 2, and 3. And under priority 1, I've got toilet rooms, locker rooms, high school locker rooms, and then the elementary school generator. I think everybody agrees those are the first priorities.
yes.
Okay.
Which totals 707,660.
You know, this is very exciting. This is what we were hoping to have the opportunity to do, is to get some of these
And
things
you can
in.
only do that if we put the roofs on.
And we're doing that.
Alan,
Yeah.
what did you have in last? The computer labs?
If you do the middle school toilets,
Okay.
the
Locker?
locker rooms,
Uh-huh.
the team lockers,
At
and you
141.
do the elementary school generator,
Uh-huh.
and you do the computer labs,
Oh, computer lab, I
that's
missed that.
$707,660. It still leaves you $224,000. And at this point, I mean, you can,
Maybe we pose this to the administrative team tomorrow, or the cabinet, and ask them for the locker room, or the LED lighting is more important.
I think you're gonna get a locker room.
Where's
But
the-
locker-
I mean, hallway lockers, I'm sorry,
The
hallway
hallway
lockers.
I
Oh,
emailed Peter
okay.
to ask him what the
Okay,
utilization
gotcha,
is.
gotcha.
He could give us an estimate of utilization.
Mm.
Yeah, and there's your 200,000.
yeah, the lockers go in and you're at your.
Yeah, I would actually put it to the high school staff, the LED lighting going on the stage or the lockers, which is preferred.
My concern with the
And I'll be
lockers is-
perfectly honest with you right now, that
G.
if we gave them the go-ahead on the high school lockers
We
right
won't have
now,
them
we
till
won't
next
have them
summer.
for this summer.
Right.
No.
So
Might as well.
you could sit on that a little bit
Have
and
a
award it
discussion.
And see
later
what
on.
kind of money we have on that, yeah.
Peter, were you familiar
Kevin said that's.
with the LED lighting, are you familiar with what they had picked out?
High school,
No,
they wouldn't be
because
until next
I-
year.
what I was-
Chinese steel.
The modern stuff is,
It
changes color, and it's
So-
You
color.
might get, you might get
Or
the
you don't
team
have, or
lockers.
now you have to put in the gels in order to show.
Yeah, right.
I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
think
this summer
that,
for
that's the
fall.
one distinction.
Well, you know, we have
So
actually
from the
might
lighting,
have
you can
considered
actually
this.
turn the stage different colors, so that,
I agree.
I think that's the benefit of it.
My,
It
I
is.
have a generators are.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's
hopefully
You
it's
know, maybe you want them
I know.
to.
But you see it get more use,
I
yes.
just wanna make sure
But
that
it's
generators.
the smallest campus, it's the largest amount of money for
For the
it.
middle school.
There-
Well, no, I'm
maybe
saying at the
they're
bus
mixed.
It's
garage.
just the way the numbers fell,
It's
these
just-
contractors.
Put it over at the bus garage.
They know, they'll get that
Want
money.
to rebid that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can we rebid that way down,
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
down?
we did it separately.
But you know, like maybe add the one for the bus garage, cause they do, you know, if they phone calls, you know, they got a lot going on in
Yeah, I think
town.
we rebid the middle
So we
school.
could look into backfeeding the bus garage just for the item that you think that you need on the generator and see if it can come off of this.
Yeah, but you don't have a route out there, do you?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
Yeah,
You can't run it through the Cat 6 conduit.
Yeah,
That's what I
no.
was
That
just
won't
gonna say, you got a couple of conduits out there.
So that might
And
be
then
like
put
a
a
thought.
spare in.
But if it's, there are,
If it's just a communication
might have used
system,
them from
So
now,
it's
there
a lot
there
of-
should
generator
be.
out there wouldn't need to be industrial.
I just don't know if you can put
Yeah,
powered
but
wire
they
in there.
have radios to the buses,
They
their
got
whole
their own
setup
specs.
is in the garage.
No, no, I'm saying the power being
Come on.
on, there's nothing.
So
you can
Alan,
All right,
control the children.
Viral generator out there.
Can you do that? Can you
Okay,
run
let's
like a
go,
home
let's go back
generator?
That'd be separate.
and decide on how you
Have
wanna
to be
move
bigger than
forward
that.
with the
Yeah.
additional money that's still there.
I would say,
Do you wanna hold on until the end of this summer, so we know where we are in some of these projects? Because we don't know, with the amount of work that's being done this summer, what additional
Yeah,
money
some
might eat
might
up a
come
lot
up.
of that contingency money.
yeah, so the.
That's
law-
allocated right now.
Well,
Or what's not gonna eat it up, and it's gonna throw more back into that pool of money.
Yeah, let me, I would say that stuff in reserve may actually,
I was just gonna say, I think what we were hoping for tonight, because what I heard tonight from Lou Rodriguez, right before we came in, is that if we don't get approving some of these alternates, it may delay the schedule, because especially with the electrical work. So is there any possibility that we can award some of the priority one alternates that we all?
But we
Yeah.
just said we're gonna
We
award
just gave you
about
four
4
of
of them already.
Oh, okay, because I wasn't
So
sure.
Yeah,
toilet
no,
rooms,
But
locker
we're
We're
gonna
rooms?
say
gonna
about
award,
waiting
we're gonna
for
award the middle
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
bathrooms, we're gonna
Okay.
award the
Locker room, high
locker
school.
rooms at the high school, the teen
Okay.
lockers, we're
The
gonna award
elementary
the
school
generator
generator.
at the elementary school, and we're gonna award the computer lab.
Both
Okay.
computer labs,
Okay, so
great.
that-
Our
And then
balance
hold
of
for that.
224,000,
That
we're
you're
gonna,
hold.
we're gonna hold.
Because we'd like to.
Am I right?
Yeah,
Are you okay with that?
Yes, at the end of the let's summer. go.
What was,
And then maybe a generator for the garage.
what was that again?
We're going to award
Yeah,
elementary school generator,
For
right,
later this summer.
middle school and high school computer lab,
okay,
teen locker rooms at the high school,
okay.
bathroom, toilet rooms at the middle school,
All right, and
correct?
that leaves a balance of,
200 and,
23,000 change.
so that's gonna be a discussion for tomorrow to find out lockers or lights.
I just texted Mr.
Yeah, or
Mr.
hold on
Harris,
it.
or hold on and see
Because
what.
the lockers are not gonna be able to get in this summer, so we can wait a month or two, or
Yeah,
get
so
them
maybe
awarded.
we
Yeah, but
should-
But if there's
Are we gonna-
overwhelming desire to do LED lighting, which I don't suspect that will be the case.
No,
But that would maybe
And I
wanna
don't,
be a little sooner.
but there's
and
only
I
so
don't
many
know
days
that
on this
the
bid,
quarter
right?
locker rooms are gonna be a priority.
I would
either,
think a
so.
contractor would still, they're not gonna ask for a lot more than that, otherwise you just say no, otherwise they
Didn't
get the
Kevin
opportunity.
say he had asked for their drop dead date?
Pat Flynn did say
On
that, so
their-
we're okay.
Okay,
On their alternates, they haven't pulled it yet.
All right, well, we can.
All right, do we need to
Nothing
do that
stops
by
us at
board
any point
We
just
do need to
asking
do
for
it
a
by
change
board
order
resolution,
on it, and then you
I'm gonna put the deeds on it.
yeah,
If they come back and say 260, and we're going
Yeah,
to
Let them know, we'll
bid,
let them know that it's gonna be about
negotiate
the
it.
change order shouldn't be double what it is in
No,
this.
it should.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna need a resolution awarding, and we'll fill in the details with the contractor names and all.
That
Yeah.
was for back at the freezers, because they lost.
Okay, we're gonna move with a resolution. Be it resolved, that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, approves to award the following alternates per Phase 1B bids to the respective contractors and trade as follows. The middle school toilet room renovation, and I'm just gonna throw these numbers out, we'll double check them, $369,089. The high school and middle school computer lab for $114,196. The high school team lockers for $141,091. And the generator at the elementary school for $82,373. Can I have a motion, please?
Move it.
Moved by Sue, seconded by Heather. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Now, just what, so you all know, when you see that in the minutes, you're gonna see maybe 4 bids for each one of the primes. For each one, you're not gonna see those totals, I just wanna let you know, it's gonna look different than when we start.
That's fine.
Well, at least we can give some, now we have direction to give to our.
Yeah.
our
Thank
team
you,
and
sorry if that
our-
was a convoluted discussion.
No,
That's
but
what
it needed to be.
be.
It
be.
this conversation
Yeah.
needed to be.
Yeah.
And we're still on the good side of 9 o'clock.
Right, we are. And we're still in a good mood.
Like sands through the hourglass.
Yeah.
Old business, board policy 2000 series, first reading. I know we tabled it last week, we didn't have the opportunity to go through. We still have a second reading, so we're not approving tonight. Anyone have any concerns, issues with the 200 series? Which,
Yeah, the only one I went through, maybe it's just I know you're doing it, but I just don't remember. I don't ever recall receiving a board committee report annually on our buildings. Like,
buildings
where
condition
there's
survey,
supposed to be
Yeah,
a,
that's it.
where you give us a report yearly about our buildings, like the board committee.
And we don't have the support services.
Services would be.
But it's a board committee, that's what the policy
That's what we
says.
are.
Yeah, you are a
That's what
committee.
support services is, though, it's a subcommittee of the board.
Right.
Right.
We tour the
We
buildings
had the
every,
reorg.
just about every school.
Yes, we do.
year.
Yeah,
Right.
So, I don't know that we do it as formally as the policy makes it sound. So,
maybe we could just tweak the language.
okay, let me talk to Margot.
Yeah. And
Or
are-
we
are
can-
these-
or
are
we
these
can get a
necessary?
report.
Like, some of them just seem like, God, do we really have to make this policy?
which one was that, Sue? I'm looking at
Um,
committees of the board, 2330.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
didn't see that in
2330.
2330 is only 2 pages.
Yeah, they're all short, they're all tiny.
These committees may make recommendations to the board, however, they cannot make legal decisions because the board has to appoint temporary committees considering full membership of the board. LC, board shall appoint one more, visit every school department at least once annually report on their conditions, next regular meeting, okay.
That's it, that's where, yeah.
We basically do that as a whole, we've done our campus walkthroughs around September of each year. You recall that we all go out and
Yeah,
visit?
yeah,
So as a whole, we kind of visit and
Okay,
do our own report internally. I mean, there's no
We
written
don't
report
formalize
given,
it,
no
yeah.
formal report.
The building conditions survey would be the form.
yeah, it just says report on their conditions at the next regular meeting of the board.
Rather than, but we get these regular reports from the departments as well as
Yeah.
the building.
All right, well, as long as, yeah, that was the only question.
Well,
Because
let me just ask Margot,
You
if
know,
there's a better way of wording it
or
or clarifying it.
Here's what we do, are we meeting the threshold that the policy is setting
Indicating.
forth? I think that's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we meeting the standards set forth by the policy?
Right, that's right, Mike.
I guess similar, I had a question for the, on the last one, the board self-evaluation, same type of question, are we really doing
I
that?
remember doing, I don't remember doing it every year.
Yeah, I know we had stuff a few times,
We
but.
self-evaluate ourselves at our retreat.
And it also says we can request an evaluation from the superintendent at our discretion. We may want to engage in that.
That's when we sit in that circle with drums and.
Yeah, that's it.
You want a self-evaluation for our superintendent?
Well, board evaluation, we could.
No, we're supposed to be evaluating ourselves, I think, right?
Well, we can
It
ask
says
for,
both.
we can ask for the.
Let me
the
tell you
input
something,
of the
you people are
superintendent.
doing a 5-star job.
Don't we have to say that, though?
I was
I
gonna
mean,
give you like 9 out of 10, right?
5, right. Or if you got some gold stars around your desk.
Alan,
bring it
didn't you
over.
just say we work together so well?
I did walk
We're always
Yeah,
together.
that-
Maybe that was
that's
the
awesome.
report.
Oh, that's what I did. Did you notice it?
Why
Why didn't you tell me?
You have done at least two
Oh, yeah.
formal staff
Yeah, but I
evaluations.
remember it.
Not recently formal, but
I
as
think
you
the
attend
biggest-
retreats.
The biggest self-reflection, I think, happened through the process of coming up with that district mission statement, quite frankly. I think we were all pushed by Sarah in that process.
And I think that's good, but it's not an annual, which is what the policies state.
You wanna make it biannual?
I just wanna make it something that we're actually,
Are you just
make
looking
sure we're
for
doing.
we should be doing
a
what
form
we're,
to complain
the
about
policy.
somebody?
You know what,
Maybe
we
we add
should
it
see
to our
if there's
calendar.
anything on the,
Yes.
There you go.
and we'll check if there's anything on our, the school board's gotta have something like this.
Yeah.
School boards definitely have
Oh, yeah.
She's
a
on
self-reflection document.
Mine is still nice and sharp.
We did say that legal reviewed these prior.
Yes.
Says
If
If
they
your
went
eyes
to
are not
Margot and
glazed
she
over by
made
nine
any-
PM, you're not doing
any,
enough.
We
reading.
really have to- All right, we'll ask Margot for some updates and maybe some language adjustments on some of them, and we'll bring it back to our next meeting for second reading and hopefully approval at that point. And if you have anything in the meantime, email it to us and we'll have Margot look at it. Okay, anything for the good and welfare of the district? Any other old business? Open meeting up to public comment.
Come on.
We're gonna do a board evaluation.
Motion to adjourn, since we're on the short side of 9 o'clock.
I have a session.
For Tom Miller?
The good side.
Oh, the good side of,
Motion.
Second.
I'm sorry, yes, we
Who
do.
motioned it?
So that was Mike and Heather?
Yeah, but
Wait,
Okay,
We're not adjourning, I'm sorry, we're motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Thank you, ladies, for
discussion.
coming.
Yeah,
thank
you.
Good night.
So I'm gonna
All those
take
in
this.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Peter, for coming back.
You don't mind if I-
Yes.
Good
I don't know that.
I will be, okay.
Wait a minute, let me see.
That's
Yes,
okay.
thank you, it's great. I think don't want community discussion.
Yeah, we did.